Hey, Joe, how's it going, bud?
It's going okay.
All right. Now you're for a little pitching today?
Yes.
All right, great. Well, what do you think some of the things that you think about when you step up to the rubber, when you toe that rubber?
That I'm on that batter.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right. What's the main thing? The main thing is that you want to get the batter out, right?
Yes.
So when you're thinking about ways to get the batter out, it all comes down to fundamentals. Okay. And one of the first things we want to talk about today, okay, is when you start off. How do you start? Like, let's see the way you line up facing home plate, and the best way that you figure, the most comfortable way for you. All right, great. See the way that right there is pretty much exactly the way we want everything to go. Okay. See how your shoulders right here, all right, at a 45-degree angle. Your hands want to be up here. Sometimes it's preference to be down here, but right now we want your hands stacked and strong right here at your chest. Okay, and make sure your eyes are on the target. Now I notice that you got your right foot a little bit towards the right of the rubber, and that's fine. It's all about preference. All right. When I was in college, I know I kind of went off to the side a little bit, but for the general things that you have going on right here with the shoulders at a 45-degree angle, and your hands are stacked and strong. Okay, that's great. All right. Now, what do you think the next thing we're going to talk about is?
Wind up? Balance? I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and talk about the next step, which is when we start moving, we start building momentum. Because pitching is all about momentum. Okay? We want to make sure that we get our momentum going. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little step back. Okay? And sometimes you may think of this as a rocker step. You may have heard that, but we're going to call it a step back. All right? And when you step back, what do you want to do? All right. Your shoulders are at a 45-degree angle, right? So your step back is going to be at a 45-degree angle. And also, you're going to land on your toe. Okay? So we're going to start here, eyes on target. All right? And then you're going to take a step to the side. All right? Now, the next thing you have to do is obviously when your right foot, when we step, you're going to have to rotate your right foot to the inside part of that rubber so you get that push off. Okay? So when you rotate, you want to make sure you're maintaining your eyes on the target at the same time placing your right foot parallel with the rubber. All right. Now, when you talk about balance position, okay, when you come to balance position, you want to make sure that your knee comes up, all right, and you want to make sure that you rotate your shoulders towards the dugout that you're facing. So in this case, it would be the third base dugout, and also your hips. So you want to make sure that when you come up to the balance position after your inward turn, that you're up here, and you're still maintaining eye contact with the target. That's very important, all right, because the left movement with your eyes, the more you move your eyes and the longer you take it off the target, all right, the harder it is to pick it back up. All right. Now, position, we're going to talk about the handbrake. Now, when you talk about handbrake, you see some pitchers, they go ahead and they'll break their hands possibly, a little bit earlier, and some pitchers, they break their hands a little bit later. We want to teach you, okay, and this is, we want to make sure this is comfortable with you, is that you want to break your hands when your knee comes up to the balancing point, the peak of the balancing point. So you're going to break your hands right here, and you remember everything has to be symmetrical. Okay, you don't want it's all about comfort, but at the same time you want to make sure that the hands break at the right time so it doesn't throw off your momentum, which comes back to momentum again. All right, after that we have stride and getting to the power position. Okay, we have stride and getting to the power position. So when you talk about stride, you want to make sure what are some things that come to mind.
Don't want to overstride, don't want to have short stride.
Right. All right. That's pretty good. All right. You want to make sure that you also stride in a straight line. Okay.
Okay.
So when you stride, if you stride closed off, that's not going to be great. All right. Because then you have to readjust the way your shoulders come through and the way everything else happens. So the most important thing about the stride is right. Distance. Some people are shorter striders, some people are longer striders. It's all about the push you get off on the back foot. Now, when you get to the balance position, your back knee's gonna be slightly bent, okay, and you're gonna get that good push off. All right. So when you stride, you want to make sure it's straight towards home plate. All right. You don't want to open up. You don't want to close. Okay. So why don't you go ahead and show me your stride towards home plate? Very good. All right, and we'll add the handbrake in there too, but that's just the stride. All right, great. So you got the stride. All right. And then you're going to go, you got the straight line towards home plate, and you got the handbrake down. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about release point. Now, release point is different for every pitcher. Okay, so let's go ahead and see your release point. So when you deliver the baseball home, where's your arm at?
Whoa.
Okay. Go ahead. All right. So you're kind of more over the top thrower.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because you're an outfielder. All right, and that's good. You know, everyone's got a different release point, but when you talk about certain parts about your release point, is that there are several things that you want to make sure you're doing, and that you're doing correctly. Okay. And the first one of those things that your fingers always want to be on top of the baseball. Okay. Fingers always want to be on top of the baseball, regardless of arm angle, regardless of arm slot. Your fingers are always on top of the baseball. And then also you want to make sure your elbow's up. Okay? Even though you might, like I pitched a little bit from a 3/4 angle in college, my elbow was always up. So, you know, you want to make sure that if your elbow's not up, it's going to drop your arm slot to a point where you can't really make, you know, an effective pitch. And then finally, we're going to talk about follow through. Okay? And that's going to be our final step. We have 8 steps here. Okay? And when we talk about follow through, what do you think about some of the best pitchers, best fielding position, best fielding pitchers at their position? You think about Greg Maddux, you think about Mark Burley, you think about other pitchers like that who've won Gold Gloves in the past, and you think about how they're set up. Now, right behind you in the field, okay, you got your second baseman, you got your shortstop, but there's no one standing on second base. So you're basically the last line of defense before the center fielder up the middle. You know, despite even if your shortstop or second baseman has great range, if the ball is right back up the middle, chances are it's a base hit. So you cannot be the type of pitcher that's going to be falling off to the side, all right, because you're leaving this all open, all right. So you also, and the other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to just be there standing up, all right. So you want to make sure that when you come through, all right, you're here, and then you're coming through, all right, and obviously, you know, you're going to generate a lot of momentum, so it's going to be a little more difficult. But you're basically here, ready to go, okay? Everything, you know, in sports, you talk about, you know, triple threat position. In basketball, you talk about the athletic stance. Well, when you follow through and you're ready to field, the athletic stance is something you definitely want to have, okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to break it down, all right? And we'll talk about from the windup. So you remember your starting position, all right, with your shoulders at a 45-degree angle, hands stacked and strong. Very good. Now we're going to talk about the step back, all right, the inward turn, all right, to the balance point. All right, really breaking the knees. All right, stride forward, coming through. All right, and then you're there. Boom, ready to go. All right, that's great. Now let's see it once in fast motion. All the steps together. Eyes on the target. Perfect. Great. All right, and that would be the end of our pitching lesson for today.